Hi, I'm Matthew Witherite, and I'm coming from the DMT studios here at Jeff Tech, and I have our nurse, Miss Swintek, and Miss Askey with us, and we're going to talk about our starfish suicide prevention committee that we have here. And what do you guys got to say about our starfish program?
As part of the starfish program, this month's theme was suicide prevention. And we did that to bring awareness of the subject and talk about it, because it's not an easy subject to talk about. But we wanted to do some activities to incorporate all of the students helping out each other and staff as well. So what we did last week was we gave the opportunity for each student to be a lifesaver. And we made these paper lifesavers that students could write their name on and post on the outside of their lockers. That meant they were going to promise to be there for other students. If students are walking down the hall having a bad day, feeling depressed, even feeling like they're in crisis, they can see that name and the lifesaver and know they can go to that student and talk. And then that student as a lifesaver can refer them to help, can help them, solve the problem. And then we also had Mr. Rischel's shop, Building Trades, make us take a break, because they look like Kit Kats. And each shop and each classroom got one. And if a student is having a bad time, needs to just walk out of the room, walk around the room before they get themselves into some trouble because of being frustrated, they can take a break and go for a little walk, take a break, and return it to the desk. So it kind of gives them an opportunity to get rid of some frustration if they don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I like that, take a break. You can really, if you get frustrated in a class or something, then you could just, pick it up and just be like,
It looks like you could eat it.
And it looks like chocolate.
Yeah, it does.
So those were some of the activities we did in the past few weeks.
Yeah, we've also been doing shop talks. During these shop talks, we've gone in and we've talked about suicide prevention. Suicide is something that just isn't talked about, and it needs to be. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among persons between the ages of 15 to 24, and it predominantly affects males more than females, which, if you really think about it, guys won't even admit to having feelings, so let alone talk about them. We talked about warning signs and signals, what to look for, and then we went into some detail on what to do if you're talking with someone, a good friend or someone, that is feeling suicidal or having those thoughts, the steps that you need to take. And it's gone very well. Everyone's been very receptive, the talks have gone well, and we're real happy with it.
It's great. It's something that it's good to talk about it. And in high school, it's difficult. And instead of having to always go to an adult, you can go to a student as a peer and ask them, and you can save a life.
Yeah, we're finding too that a lot of students and staff have already come in touch with people that have committed suicide or have thought about it and made an attempt, and talking about it's the first step.
And that's the hardest part to get through to people too, is that it's just admitting that maybe you are a little depressed or you're down or something like that. And
You're exactly right.
Yeah, well, there's different ways that some people show that they're depressed, like cutting and that.
You're right. You're exactly right.
And we also did an activity regarding self-harm, because you mentioned cutting.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I think of suicide doesn't involve cutting, but it's self-harm. And we had another activity where students could paint a butterfly on their wrist, and that it is a known symbol that instead of self-harm, cutting, doing something harmful, you can look at the butterfly and leave that butterfly on. Don't injure the butterfly, let it fade, don't get rid of it, and let it just fade like a butterfly would, meaning that you didn't hurt the butterfly, just as a symbol of not to hurt yourself.
I've never heard of that butterfly thing before. That's neat.
Yeah, that. It was interesting.
And you would also get a green wristband that would say, "You still matter." Yep. I got one, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great month.
It's been a great month.
this month's theme was suicide prevention, and what is like the upcoming activities or upcoming stuff that you guys are planning to do for this Starfish?
Well, with the STARR team and the Starfish team, we have a few more ideas. We have, 3 months left of school, 4 months. Next month is February, and that theme is going to be healthy relationships versus unhealthy relationships. And we're going to focus on what is a good relationship to be in, because so many students and staff members are in bad relationships and they don't know that they're bad. And we want them to identify small things that can help them realize, I need to get out of this relationship, or am I in a healthy one? So it's going to provide the students an opportunity to ask themselves, you know, who am I hanging around with? What relationships am I in? Is it making me a good person? Is it making me a bad person? And am I doing it for the right reasons? So we have a lot planned. Can't really say too much right now, but February is going to be a good month, focusing on love, respect. Love is Respect is the name of the month, and we're going to focus on relationships. So that's what's coming up next month.
I like that because it would really get a bunch of kids to think about like their peers and stuff, and really be like, are these the people that I would want my image to be like, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. In school and out of school.
Whenever you were talking about relationships, something that came up this morning is that so many young people think the end of the world whenever they lose a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know, or a relationship goes by. And one of the things that we talked about is that suicide is a permanent solution, and the end of these relationships is temporary. You know, and with suicide, there's no do-over. It's permanent. Where relationships, you know, relationships are going to end, and you're going to build new relationships and meet new people, and you can get through it. You know, these situations, you'll get through it, and you'll make new friends and new relationships. But there's no do-over with suicide. And we really need to remember that. You guys are all stronger than you think.
Well, I'm Matthew Witherite, and Taylor, looks like that's another episode of the Jeff Tech News wrapped up and done for. This is Miss Swintek and Miss Askey. We're coming from the Jeff Tech Digital Media Technology Studio. And remember, you can always find us at www.jefftech.us.